John Hinchell.
Good evening. Thanks for coming. I wonder if each of you would address what you think of 4 years from now, once you're elected, the greatest accomplishment you'll have accomplished in 4 years' time.
Well, I think Sheriff Ramel's helped me out because he said we're number 2 in the state right now, the safest county in the state. He left me room for improvement. So at the end of my 4 years, I would hope that Charlotte County is the safest place in the state of Florida, and that's my goal.
I have a few more goals than that. First thing I'm going to do is return community policing back to this community. We switched over to intelligent-led policing. Intelligent-led policing is going to be something that you would add to community policing. Okay? But if you go to the strategic plan and you look at the strategic plan of the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, it talks about intelligent-led policing. Well, intelligent-led policing works coincidal with community policing. The strategic plan talks about community partnerships. Community partnerships is not the complete picture. It's a portion of community policing. So I will return community policing back. I will again give you the safest jail in this state. I will give you the safest jail. We've had 5 inmate deaths in that jail. 5. And it's unacceptable. And it's a model jail according to our current sheriff. It is not a model jail. Accreditation and a little sticker does not make it a model jail. It's the performance and it's the leadership with maturity and integrity and intelligence that makes it a model jail. So they're the 2 things that I promise you I will bring back to this community. And by the way, I will put In God We Trust back on our police cars.
One of my biggest things is I have a vision to create a model agency for the entire state and hopefully have a rippling effect in other states. Where does that begin? It begins with a realignment of administration. It starts with a new promotion process where officers are actually promoted based on what they know, not who they know. A reduction in the budget. An open door policy where you actually see the sheriff from the beginning when he gets sworn in right up until the end. A better relationship with the community. One of the things that I've noticed is we talk about community involvement and building that trust with the community. And the last 2 community unity walks that I've been involved in, the first time they had it, there was 87 people. And the second time we had it, there was 47 people. Well, there's 160,000 people in Charlotte County. I wouldn't say that's community unity. One of the things that I'd like to see is 10, 15, 20,000 people walking over that bridge, leaving their team jerseys at home and representing themselves as a taxpayer in Charlotte County.
And what I'm looking to do is, and everyone knows, is changing from the current traditional paramilitary structure and infusing business methods. With that paramilitary structure and putting the business measure there, I want to give a better product to our customers. There's always something we can do about it. Right now, there's cases where you can call the sheriff's office, and it could be a civil case, and they'll tell you that you need to contact an attorney, and there's nothing we can do about it. Well, under the business model, under my leadership, you will never, ever hear that come out of any of my people. And if you do, John, I will buy dinner for you, okay, with fixed salary, okay? But, yeah, that's, yeah, Vic. And Vic, you clean up real well, too, tonight. Just want to let you know. But that's where I'm going with it. The customer service. Always something we do for our people.
On body cameras for officers, and what about if you stop citizens or speak to them and they've got the GoPro cameras on them?
I'm all for body cameras. I think it's great. It serves a purpose for court purposes when it's time to go to court. It's not like if you work a case and you have 10 different witnesses, you have 10 different stories. Body cameras, they're going to tell you what's going on. Only there is some downfall with that, and when we talk about body cameras, we talk about if you go, say you go into somebody's residential home, you have that body camera on, there could be people walking by you, and it's going to be seen what's going on inside that residence, and that's all public information. People can get that stuff. So there are some things. Another downfall is the money. But again, there's grants out there where you can get money. But I'm all for cameras. We have them. As we all know, I work for Powell Police Department. We have the cameras in our patrol cars. Great, they're a great tool. And yeah, I am all for body cameras And if the public's behind it, then if there's a way to do it, we'll do it.
We live in a different world. We live in a world where social media has changed a lot. Law enforcement officers today are faced with three evils: being sued, being arrested, and being killed. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot more officers being killed today. Social media depicts one side of the story. Body cams are a must. Okay, they were a must for the state. They would be a must for me as a sheriff, and not only to protect the citizen, but to protect the officers. In light of those three evils, if an officer is doing the job that he swore to uphold, there should never be an issue. It's those that have something to hide are the ones that need to worry. Body cams create transparency. They also create accountability.
I don't have an issue with body cams. Again, it's a protective measure to be used as evidence. It aids the officer. But let's look at it this way too. It also aids leadership. It gives us an understanding, okay, of what's happening out there on the road and what our deputies are doing correctly and what they may be doing incorrectly. And we can use that as a resource and a training aid, okay, to assist us as leaders, okay, to also see what is happening out there on the road. I believe there's a second part to your question, was there not?
Citizens with cameras.
For citizens with cameras, again, we're going to start talking about the Constitution, okay? They have the right to record, okay? We can't tell them they can't record us doing our job. There's some out there that think they can. There's some out there that think they can confiscate it, okay, from the citizen once they're utilizing it. It's personal property, okay, and it's going to require a warrant to get that personal property, okay? Even though there's some out there that think, and it's still being fought in court. However, I believe it's a constitutional issue, falls under your First Amendment, okay, for your freedom of speech and your rights.
Thank you. I believe it's a positive area too, having body cams. Protects the officers, protects the citizens. My adage is if it's good for the community, good for the agency, and it's cost effective, then why not do it? We have to figure out what type of cameras. When I worked in narcotics, we had several types of body cams that we used for undercover dealing and so forth. So you have to find something that's going to be durable and not going to falter when an officer gets into an altercation with a suspect. We need to do research. We need to ask other agencies what's going on. We have to worry about being turned on at the time. Are they running when the time you get out of the car? How are they turned on? Are they turned on manually or when the officer leaves the car? So you have to put all that into perspective. Right now, we have, I think the traffic units out there are the only ones that have dash cams in them. When I was an officer there, I think almost every unit on the road had dash cams. And I don't know where they went. But that's another thing. When we get dash cams, are we going to use them? Are they going to stay there? Or are they going to be pushed by the wayside and then the taxpayers' money's gone down the drain? So that's one of my concerns also. Once we get them, I think we need to keep them up and keep them running. Thank you.
All right, we have just a few minutes left for the sheriff. Credentials, and it sounds like a lot of standard operating procedures been taught for many years to all these gentlemen. One of the problems that I see in this county is that there's a lot of standard operating procedures that are unconstitutional, violations up and down, and when they are recognized, we are, as people of this great nation, supposed to report this stuff. Who are you going to report it to? I've taken situations to judges, I've taken them to lawyers. God forbid a lawyer should ever answer questions straight. And they pretty much basically tell me it goes against their philosophy. They're not going to go against their fellow brother. What is your question?
The
question is, are you willing to investigate? I asked directly to the sheriff in office right now, and he said he would. I handed him a written affidavit complaint. He did not investigate. All right, gentlemen.
Are you willing to investigate
Answer his question.
are unlawful?
Okay, thank you. Real quick. Of course, thanks, Joe. Of course, I'm going to have an open door policy. I'm open to anyone that calls me now. If you look at my literature for on my campaign, my email's on there, personal email, and my phone number. People can call me now and ask me questions. I've always been a hands-on supervisor, a lead by example, lead from the front. I was a lieutenant commander of a district. I should have wore a fireman's hat instead of a uniform for a police officer, because that's what I did most of the time as a district commander, is I put fires out like you're talking about. So I welcome that. I was good at that. So anytime you have a question for me when I become sheriff, you call me and we'll sit down and discuss it. You will not be put off.
Let's go right back to being an oath keeper. If you're going to be an oath keeper, you're going to be an oath keeper. Okay? I've been asking and I've been talking about getting an investigation in that jail over a dead inmate. Okay? One is deceased. All right? For over a year. Almost a year. I'm sorry, it's about 11 months now. All right? But no, we internally investigated it. And you know, it's kind of like walking in the woods and looking for a tree. Okay? Can't pick that tree out. You can't see what's wrong sometimes inside your own agency, and there comes a point in time to bring somebody else in. As far as bringing a complaint to us, all right, we have an obligation by Florida State Statute 30 to investigate all complaints, whether we agree with them or not. You may not agree with our finding. However, we have an obligation by virtue of that oath that we took under the Florida State Statute, the Constitution of the State of Florida, and of the United States to investigate your complaint, and we will do it.
As officers, we are not in a position to prioritize your complaint. We take your complaint. Our job is to serve and protect you. The biggest problem with Charlotte County today is, if we go back 30, 40, 50 years, we've conformed to a certain way of doing things and we've learned to accept it, okay? People in Charlotte County need to start to stand up and speak out like you are right now. Because all I hear is people telling me about the problems and the constitutional rights that are being violated day in and day out. But where's it stop? I mean, where's it start? It starts with leadership. You've got officers today that are being taught by field training officers that have only been on the department for a year. What could they possibly share with these officers to teach them what they're supposed to be doing, their obligations to the community, and what the constitutional rights are of every taxpayer in this county? So those things have to be changed. As a sheriff, that's exactly what I will do. Open door policy, address every issue that you have.
And again, and we're on the same page, and I echo all three of these guys, but bottom line, folks, bottom line, sir, is that it all comes down, this election is all about transparency, accountability, and customer service. And like I said earlier, you know, there's always something we can do for you, okay? It doesn't matter what it is. We're always there for you. We're going to investigate anything that comes out to us, we're going to investigate, but we're always there for you. We don't turn people away.
All right, thank you. We have